Welcome to From the Shed End podcast. Myself, T.Dot. We've got a match reaction to do, and this is not going to be a nice one. So, first of all, guys, subscribe to the channel, hit the subscribe button below. Let us know your thoughts. Manchester City 1, Chelsea nil. What can I say? Let me start with the lineup. Let me start with the lineup because myself and Theo, we said on the podcast that ideally we would like to see a Kai Havertz or a Timo Werner start this game. Mason Mount was rested earlier on in the week and doesn't come on. He doesn't start. I was impressed with the back three. I saw the lineup. I saw Malang Sarr. I know there's a couple of people before that wanted to see. I think they wanted to see Aspilicueta, maybe Pulisic play on the right as right wing back. But I was impressed with the fact that Malang Sarr kept his place after the Spurs game, the FA Cup game as well against Chesterfield. I was impressed. I was impressed with the back three. I was happy with Rudiger, Thiago Silva, and Marcos Alonso. Midfield, I was happy with. I was happy with Kante, Kovacic. It made sense to me. You know, one does the leg work. We know what Kante is about, and Kovacic as well. He can do that. He can press. He can move forward. So I was happy with the two in the midfield. The front three of Lukaku, Ziyech, and Pulisic in a game when you need to score, you need to be on the front foot. You need a bit of pace. You need a bit of creativity in that midfield or that front three. Why isn't Mason Mount playing in a game where we ideally need someone who can make something happen? Hakim Ziyech and Christian Pulisic are very good players. They are very good players. But in a game where you've got to be creative, you've got to break down City, you can't go to City and try and play out from the back and do all this nonsense. It's not going to work with the likes of Pulisic and Havertz and Hakim Ziyech in the team. It is not going to work. It didn't make any sense to me whatsoever to have a front three of Havertz, of Hakim Ziyech. This is what I mean. My mind is still on Havertz. It should have been Havertz starting today. It should have been Havertz starting today. There's no other option to start anyone else apart from Kai Havertz and Mason Mount or Callum Hudson-Odoi. They're the players that you want to play with a bit of flair, bit of speed. They can take on defenders. I don't think Pulisic done anything in that game until he got subbed off. Anything in that game. All this long ball, we're getting the ball, we're passing the ball, we pass it back to Kepa. Kepa passes it to Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva looks for Alonso. Alonso looks forward, thinks, no, I'm not going to go forward. I'm going to pass it back to Thiago Silva, who then passes it back to Kepa, who passes it back to Rudiger. We lose the ball, we panic. That's all we did in the first half. That was all we did in the first half. That's all we did. Kovacic gives the ball away. It's a simple ball. I'm not sure what he's doing. He's trying to play it back across goal. It's silly. You know, Jack Grealish should be finishing that. Brilliant save by Kepa. But we have to do better against teams like Man City. If we're going to screen champions of Europe and all of this stuff, I love it. But if we're not going to play like champions of Europe, then we can't we can't go to the Etihad with inflatable balloons of the European Cup and play like that. That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. We can't do that. We can't do that. We're up against one of the best teams in Europe and we're screaming champions of Europe and we played like Margate today. We played like Margate today. That was how bad we were. Man City didn't even get out of third gear today. Let's be honest. They didn't even crank up the gears. I thought they were going to when Alonso got that early yellow card. When he picked up that yellow card, I thought that right wing is going to be where the ball's going to be majority of the time, because obviously Malang Sarr done very well. He was very he knew where to be at the right time, especially with Sterling. Alonso being on that yellow card, he knew what to do. He knew where to be. He knew how to cover that space behind Alonso, and he done that really well. I thought Malang Sarr, if I had to pick out someone, and this is me clutching at straws, because to be fair, no one in that Chelsea team deserves any credit today. Let's get that right. But if I had to pick out someone, I'd probably say Malang Sarr. He played a good game. Kepa had a very good game. He kept it at 1-0. We have to give him credit. I'm going to get onto the goal that Man City score shortly. But Tuchel has got this wrong today. We have to be honest. He got it wrong with the tactics. We talked about Pep Guardiola last season, overthinking things, overcomplicating the Champions League final, not starting with that midfield that he should have started with. Today there was talk about Ruben Diaz not even starting, but this is a team that did not have Ruben Diaz in the defense. It's shocking. It's shocking. I can't believe it. Let me get on to Lukaku because I've said a lot about Lukaku on our podcast that myself and Theo do. And to be fair, I've backed Lukaku every single time. I've said every single time, post or pre-interview, I've always said Lukaku, he's gonna find a bit of form. Lukaku, when he got injured, he's gonna come back. He needs this rest. He needed a rest. He came back. He done an interview. The interview was a shambles. He's gonna come back. He's apologized. He's got to find some form. I said on the last episode 49 that he has to put in a shift today. He has to put in a shift. He can't just run around the pitch and do nothing. People will say that he never got the service. That's great. I agree with you. He never got any service at all. He never got the service. But one of the things you've got to do as a number nine is, first of all, you got to hold up the ball. You got, and this isn't just Lukaku. I'm talking about the whole team. The whole team have got to be able to string two or three passes together without losing the ball. But when you've got someone like Lukaku, who we use these buzzwords that he's big, he's strong, he can do this, and you've got to hold up the ball a bit better. Decision making today from Lukaku, Hakim Ziyech, Pulisic was poor. Was poor. The front three were poor. I, I don't know what Lukaku was thinking. To give him his credit, he gets the one shot on target that we have. The one shot that's all 90 minutes, 93 minutes or whatever it was. He got one shot on target, and that was our only shot on target for the whole game. Apart from that, he didn't do anything. He was ineffective. And this is the thing. If he's not going to do what we need him to do as £100 million player that he is, then we need to just think about other options. We need to start thinking about playing Timo Werner, who, when he came on, actually looked a bit better. Callum Hudson-Odoi comes into the team. He looks like he can do something. He's making the Man City defenders think about something. Those defenders didn't have nothing to do for 45 minutes. They just stood there. Lukaku's looking, pointing, he's pointing here, he's pointing at that person, he's tying his shoelace. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. It isn't good enough. We've got to do better. We've got to do better. This when you come against a Man City, whether you think you can win the game, you have to go out there with the belief that you can win the game. And as much as we love Thomas Tuchel, I can only imagine that is what he's telling the players in there. You can win this game. But we played like we wanted a point, and that was it, and we were ready to go back home. We didn't look like we were going to win that game or score or do anything. We didn't do anything. We didn't do anything. We just lost the ball. We had the ball and passed it back, and that was all we did for 90 minutes. We didn't deserve to win this game. The subs, I mean, come on, this is Man City. Albeit we've got a game against Brighton on Tuesday. We're going to touch on that in our next episode. But subs, let's talk about subs. Let's get the subs. Timo Werner, 70 minutes. Callum Hudson-Odoi, 70 minutes. Mason Mount, 81 minutes into the game. 12 minutes to go in the game, and you're bringing on Mason Mount. Mason Mount, in my opinion, should have come on at half time. 70 minutes into the game, right, Timo Werner needs to come on. Callum Hudson-Odoi needs to come on. I maybe would have switched Callum Hudson-Odoi and Alonso at half time, because, to be fair, Alonso was a bit on. Him and Kovacic were on thin ice a few times. They made a couple of challenges after their yellow cards where they could have got sent off. Cancelo, they'll say that he should have got sent off or he should have got booked. That's great. He should have. He did stamp on Pulisic. That's great. But at the end of the day, it doesn't count for how bad we were. We were poor. We were poor today. And let's talk about the goal. I've been on Twitter. I hate going on Twitter after football games. Could Kepa have done any more? Not in my opinion, no. I think it's a very good goal. I think it's a shame because I don't want to criticize any of that back four, because it's, in my opinion, it's you lose as a team, you win as a team. But maybe Thiago Silva can close him down a bit more. maybe Thiago Silva can be slightly closer to Kevin De Bruyne before he takes that shot. What he actually does, if you look closely, he uses Thiago Silva and bends it round. So a lot of people are going to slate Kepa. If it was Mendy, I don't think anyone would actually say anything. But because it's Kepa, people want to see him fail. Listen, Kepa made some very good saves in that game, and he kept it at 1-0. And we have to remember that it could have gone a completely different way had we not had Kepa in goal. So I think we have to credit Kepa. He's probably out of the 11 would have been my man of the match had we gone on to get a point out of that game. But the goal, look, Kevin De Bruyne can do that. If you look at the goal and we take it back, or you watch it back, he looks like he's going to pass it. Maybe to Sterling. I'm not sure who was there, but he looks like he's going to pass it, and he sees that the pass isn't on. So he thinks, forget it, I'm going to shoot. And he does well. We know he's a world-class player, so we expect that kind of quality from him. So look, title race I said was over about 2 weeks ago. I did say in our last episode, if we can win this game, title race is back on. But the title race is over. What we need to do now as a team, as fans, is focus on the Club World Cup, League Cup, FA Cup, and getting qualification for Champions League next season. Realistically, the way we played today, I'm going to go out there and say that I don't think we can win the Champions League this season. That's down to a lot of things. It's down to injuries. That's down to the way we're playing. That's down to the fact we've got a number 9 that doesn't look like he's up for the games. There's a lot of factors that we can put into that, but we have to qualify for the Champions League next season. That's a must. That's a green tick. That's an objective that you can't miss out on. But if we can walk away with this season with a League Cup, FA Cup, Club World Cup, Super Cup, and a top 4, maybe reach the latter stages of the Champions League, I'll take that this season because of the way we're playing. We've dropped too many points this season in the league to even consider ourselves anywhere near Man City. Man City are here, Chelsea are here, the rest of the pack are here. They're below us. That's it. Man City are on their own. No one's touching them this season. They're not going to drop these points now. They're in a place where they're not going to drop any points. So it's a shame for us because at the start of the season, if you go back and listen to the start of the season episodes, I talk about how we can potentially win the Premier League this season. But when we play like how we played today, we're not winning anything because we can't play out from the back. We panic. When we had the ball. If you looked at the difference in the two teams, when we have the ball, Man City, there's 3 or 4 players around us. We haven't got time on the ball. We haven't got space on the ball. We haven't got time to pick out a beautiful pass and all that stuff. And in the end, if you notice, that's why we were just long balling it. We were just kicking the ball, long ball, just to try and get it up the pitch. Because we didn't want to get pegged back like we did at the Bridge early in the season. When you see us with the ball, City with the ball, they had time to pick out their passes and do what they wanted to do and pass it here and run here, make a run there. We didn't do any of that. So this is the difference around champions and when we can actually play football. This is the difference. Man City are champions because they play champions style football. They play that quality of football. We just play football where we can win games. We've got the mentality, we've got the squad to win games. But if we're not up for it, or we don't fancy the game, or we think we might, we went into that game with a defeated mind already, and that's the problem for me. But look, we've got to take this loss. We've got to move on from it. We've got Brighton in the week. We've got to focus on that game now. It surprises me that Mason Mount was on the bench. I'd drop Lukaku. I'd give him a rest. Not that he needs one. He's had a nice long rest, but I'd give him a bit of time out of the team. Something isn't working with him. I'd bring in Kai Havertz. I'd bring in Timo Werner. Look, I'd even go out as far as to say I'd start Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, and Callum Hudson-Odoi against Brighton. Maybe Mason Mount instead of Kai Havertz. If Kai Havertz isn't fully fit, put Mason back in there because I don't know why you've got one of your most creative players on the bench not playing big games like this. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. But what we're going to do, we're going to wrap it up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you click on Apple and Spotify and listen to the podcast episodes as well. We appreciate all that. The numbers are slowly creeping up. Make sure you follow us on our social accounts as well. This has been T.Dot from the Shed End. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time.